how does matchmaking in Champions Meeting work? Is there skill-based matchmaking? What's my win rate going to look like? Hello everyone, this is Charles of Victoria Frontier. Champions Meeting is just around the corner, and I suppose that now would be a good time for me to actually talk about the Champions Meeting mechanics as the PvP guy. I've been playing consistently at the top level of Champions Meeting for the past 3 years, and I'm going to share with you some of the things that you will want to know about Champions Meeting. This video will be split into a few parts. I'll firstly talk about the Champions Meeting format, and then I'll talk about how matchmaking works and what goes behind the scenes when you're matchmaking. And then I'll talk about the ideal entry time for your Champions Meeting matches. And then after a brief Champions Meeting trivia, I'll talk about your expected win rate and whether or not you'll be able to make the A group finals. Now, I know you're wondering, how does the matchmaking actually work behind the scenes, and is it actually real time? Can you stream snipe, and is there something that you can do to increase your win rate? The answer is yes, and I am going to talk about it in just a moment. But first, I'll introduce the Champions Meeting format and what you should be expecting of Champions Meeting. I'm just going to briefly go over like the two leagues that you can choose from. As you may know, there's Graded League and Open League, and for Open League, it's mainly just that your rank is capped at B or below. So if your UMA is at 8,199 score or lower, you'll be able to enter like the Open League. Any UMA that has like a score of 8,200 or above will not be eligible to enter the Open League races. So Open League has much less rewards and actually requires a lot more min-maxing, and you kind of just have to look at the calculator to play. And most players, if you're just starting out, I would still recommend you to go Graded League, especially considering the more rewards that you can get in Graded League. However, if you really are just starting out and you really don't have that many support cards, you're struggling to keep up with other people, and you're still just learning the game and you're looking to learn how to min-max, I think it could be worth it. Other than that, most players should still be in Graded League, and there's really not that much point to go in Open League. And then there's the format of Champions Meeting. So Champions Meeting is going to be a 6-day event. In this case, our league starts at like 21st of August or 22nd of August, depending on your time zone. And so in round 1, you're going to be able to match with anyone in Graded League. If you're in Graded League, for the first 2 days, you're going to enter and you're going to race. And if you're able to get 3 or more wins with 1 ticket, I'm going to talk about it in just a second, you will advance into round 2 Group A. And if you don't manage to get 3 or more wins with 1 ticket, so like you only got like 2 or fewer wins, you will advance into Group B. And from Group B, you cannot go back to Group A finals. If you successfully advance into Group A, you will be able to just race against Group A opponents. You will only be matched against Group A opponents. And if you're in Group B, you're going to only be matched against Group B opponents, basically. And so if you manage to get like 3 wins in 1 ticket, you will be able to advance into Group A finals. That's pretty much it. Now I'm going to talk about the tickets. Every day, you are going to have 1 free entry, and then you're going to have like another mission that you can do to earn the other 2 tickets. So here's the deal. The mission that you have to do to earn those 2 tickets is quite literally register your Champions Meeting UMA. And you'll be able to get those 2 tickets right away. So essentially what that means is that every day you'll be able to have 15 free entries to Champions Meeting. But in every single day, the cap is 20. So throughout the course of 4 days, you are not going to only race 60 races, you're actually going to race 80. Because for the last ticket, you're actually not going to get it for free. You're going to use 30 gems to enter like the last 5 races and to complete your 20 races a day. So for every single day, it's free entry, ticket, 30 gems. And each ticket will earn you a chance to race 5 races. So to add that all up, it will mean 5 races per ticket, 4 tickets per day. So free entry, ticket, and then 30 gems. So 20 races per day and 80 races overall. It's common etiquette to run all 20 races a day, even after you won your 3 races that you need to advance into the next group, because this is how you actually can compare your win rate to your friends. It's very hard to get an accurate comparison if you guys run a different amount of races. So at the end of the day, everybody should have like either 20 races won, 40, 60, or 80. I know some of you feel like the extra 30 carats spent on the last entry is going to be like kind of awkward. I understand that, but even if you feel like you aren't winning, I think you should still do it because the cost is only 30 carats and there's always a chance that you'll win and make your carats back. You never know when you'll queue into people with like Witmax, Team Trials, Umas that just tip over and fall super easily, and you just take the free wins from them. Some people will put like their A rank Sakura Bakshino and you're going to farm free wins on them. After the first 4 days, we're going to enter 1 day of resting. For that day, we're only going to prepare for the final round of the Champions Meeting. So this is a 1 race grand finals. So after the first 4 days, so the timeline is day 1, day 2 is going to be like round 1, and then day 3, day 4 is going to be round 2, which will be in like a different group, and we're going to have like 1 day of preparation before the finals, and for the final day on the 6th day, you're going to enter 1 race with all the marbles on the line, and you're going to compete with other trainers for the final round rewards, which is the platinum title and the very crazy karat rewards. This is like 3,000 karats in terms of like tickets and karats, and like 30 Gata statues and all the other rewards. So how does the matchmaking actually work? And is there skill-based matchmaking? Real-time matchmaking exists to a certain degree. However, matchmaking is completely random and there is absolutely no skill-based matchmaking system at all. There's 2 things that happen behind the scenes when you like click the matchmaking button in Umamusume. So firstly, when you click entry and choose the 3 Umas, it'll actually log your 3 Umas and your loadout into the server, and your Umas will enter a pool of possible opponents for other trainers. So this means that it's going to be possible for other trainers to match against your Umamusumes. However, you don't actually matchmake against your opponents until you actually click on the matchmaking button once you enter like the next screen. Stream sniping is possible. It is a very real thing in like JP live streams and stuff. But one thing you need to know is that the opponents of your next 5 matches is actually already predetermined the second you click on the matching button after you register your UMA and enter that page. The only opportunity is when you guys click the matchmaking button together at the same time. On a completely unrelated note, I'm actually going to be streaming live on Twitch and YouTube when Champions Meeting Day 1 is going to happen. So if you want to hop in and say hi to me, to my understanding, you can get matched against Ghost on dead hours and when there's low player traffic. This ties back to like when I was referring to how real-time matchmaking exists to a certain degree, and I've had experiences where my friends found me in Champions Meeting races when I wasn't even playing Uma at that time. So they just pinged me, "Yo, Charles, is that you?" I was so confused, I didn't know that that was a thing. But as for the finals, all matchmaking is completely random and pulled from the entire pool of players. So if you are in the A group finals, you will match against any random group A opponent, and all matches in finals is against real players. And if you and your friend matches against each other, prepare for a month-long grudge.
I was the fucking victim. I got mashed into like my friend. I've played these games before.
And I had to watch on their stream as I lost miserably. Yeah, needless to say, I called him for scrims for like the next 2 months. I held this grudge for so long. Regardless, so what's the ideal timing for entry in Champions Meeting? So the entry timing actually matters to a certain degree, I believe, for the first day of round 1 and round 2 respectively. I would suggest that most players, especially if you're more a casual player, to avoid the first hour. Just the first 1 hour or so for Champions Meeting. In that 1 hour, you just play a little bit more Umamusume. For NA, that is going to probably like 6 p.m. in the afternoon. And so you probably just wait until like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. So you just avoid the first 1 to 2 hours to let the player base populate a bit. You will have like a better chance of matching into like a wider range of opponents because the real sweats are going to match like immediately. And if you're going to matchmake like at high traffic time, like 8 p.m. in NA time, you are going to be able to catch the people that just got off work 9 to 5 and you will probably be able to match into them. So the benefits of stalling and avoiding the first hour, this is not a rule that is set in stone. You can pretty much just do whatever you want. You can still play like in midnight, any time that you want and any time that suits you. That's totally fine. But just for day 1 and day 3 of Champions Meeting, so the very start of round 1 and round 2, I would suggest players to avoid like the first hour or so. That's pretty much it. Fun fact, the races in Champions Meeting, like the courses that are selected every month, is actually based off of the real-life Umamusume race schedule. So, for example, Arumakinen is held in like December in real life. Umamusume will hold the Arumakinen Champions Meeting in December. And not only do they align like the races, they also align the course. The 2022 Tennosho Spring was actually held in Hanshin Racecourse instead of the usual Kyoto Racecourse due to the Kyoto Racecourse being under renovation. So therefore, the in-game Tennosho Spring was actually held on the Hanshin Racecourse instead on like 2022. So yeah, that's a little bit of a fun fact for you guys. Just remember, every single race, every single course, every single condition actually correlates to a real life G1 race, or like maybe in the future there are G2s, but for the majority of the first 3 years, it's going to be G1s. So like Tennosho Spring, Yasuda Kinen, Takarazaka Kinen, Kikasho, Tennosho Autumn, Arma Kinen, and more. Let's move on to how you should expect your win rate to be. Win rates can fluctuate quite a bit, and for every player, depending on how much you prepare for Champions Meeting, it can vary from like a good 30% to up to like 70 or 80%. Generally speaking, it is very, very hard to break past the 80% win rate barrier, and you really need to be a disgusting high roller to be stronger than most players in the lobby to get like more than 80% win rate. However, you don't need to worry that much. Generally speaking, if you watch my Champions Meeting guide and follow the 4 principles of max speed, enough stamina, correct acceleration, and distance S, you can realistically expect yourself to make it to the A group finals. Always remember that you've already tried your best and you've already done your preparation, you've played the games, and all that's left to do is to watch the Champions Meeting races and let the rest play out themselves. That's all for the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I cannot believe I'm asking for this. I wish all of you good luck in the Champions Meeting, especially the ones that are playing with Oshis and playing on non-meta characters. This is Charles of Victoria Frontier. I'll see you in the Twitch stream and the YouTube stream, and I'll see you in the next video.